So inside a grow garden, we have a bunch of different sprinklers and all that. So a lot of them can be used for, in general tasks of making high value plants or making your plants really big. Like this plant's bigger than usual, this plant's bigger than usual. But you obviously don't want a plant that's just a tad bit bigger than usual. You want a plant that is way bigger than usual if you want high value out of it. Now, today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I got this plant so big using, basic sprinkler methods and a glitch that might be a glitch or just, I lucked out. But I will be showing you how I got it so big, what I did to get it this big, and alongside this, just in general, all the sprinklers you should be taking advantage of inside of the new update. So starting off, the reason why this plant is so big is a combination of the sprinkler method, and then I don't believe this is a glitch, but this is just what I did and it turned this big. So this might be a method. I don't know. Don't take my word for it, but it does and kind of did work. So we're going to be using that strategy alongside. The reason why this thing is so big is I believe this thing is probably like a good 40 to 50 times the normal size. This is a normal size one, as you see, and that is not as big as this, to say the least. Not as big as it in any way. So let me show you how I got it. Starting off, what you want to do is prioritize what plant you're going to get. So I do genuinely believe they made master sprinklers come in stock more frequently, because I had like 2 of these at the start of the update. I barely play, and now I have like 15 and I use them frequently. So I do think these are they frequently make them come in stock, which would explain a few things alongside why they're so common. And it makes sense because a lot of the sprinklers you can craft require a master sprinkler, so it would be understandable. But the next thing is, once you have the plant you want to make big, do understand its value. So if you want to use my website, I love my website. It is called a value calculator. So on the website, you can see all these calculations, right? You can see how it works, but this is what we're going to use for estimating the value of our plant. So you can get any plant you want in the game. So if I want to use an elephant ear, this has a base sale value of 69,000, and I want this, say it has gold shocked, frozen, chocolate, moonlit, bloodlet, celestial, disco, pollinated, say it's burnt, has twisted, and those mutations. Now it's worth 500 million. And then say it's 50 kilograms. Now it's worth 4.3 billion. And say I have a friend boost of 30%. Now it's going to sell for that much, right? Website's very helpful for this information. Alongside that, it's also helpful for just calculating how much it's worth, how much money you should estimate you're going to make and grind for, especially if you're doing the raccoon method. Anyways, though, that website will be in the description if you want to check that out. It'll probably be the homepage of the website, which will look like this, right? Click the homepage right down here. We also have a stock tracker, but the garden calculator will be right there. The next thing to note is, once you have this, you're going to need this setup. So sprinklers do stack. This was explained, but only to certain points. So you're going to need 1 master sprinkler, 2 godlies, and we're going to use just 5 advanced and basic sprinklers for literally no necessary reason. We're just going to use this setup because this has been proven. I would say proven, but this is what I used, and this plant is huge. So take my word for it. Next thing, if you are using any plant that is applied to the craftable gear, any of these sprinklers, make sure you are running this sprinkler at the same time. So if it is a moon melon, make sure you're using this, because once again, this increases the size bonus for the watermelon, pumpkin, or moon melon. Moon melons are actively obtainable in the summer harvest, so make sure you use this if you're going to do that. If you're using a pepper, cacao, or ember lily, or papaya, make sure you use this. Just make sure if it is, even if it doesn't increase its size, if it's applicable to one of the plants you're trying to grow, make sure you use that sprinkler. Like for me, this plant is a Rosy Delight. This is considered a flower plant, so I use the flower to get frozen on it. That's why all of these flowers are also frozen, because I used the sprinkler on them. But super overpowered. Make sure you do try to at least use that if you can. But the next thing is going to be the setup. So what we're going to do for the setup is, you're going to need about an hour or 2 for the sprinklers to run. So you're going to have your seed planted. Let's say something like this, right? And you're going to grab your sprinklers. And first, before you collect the plant off of it, make sure you don't collect the plant before you start the sprinkler method, because reason why is, once the plant is already growing, so say you claim it and then you plant the sprinklers down, if the plant even grows a tiny bit, it's set and it's not going to get bigger than that. For the reason why is, the plant's set value, size, or whatever is set the second it grows. So it can't get bigger or smaller than the set size whenever it initially grows. So you need to make sure before it starts growing, you already have all these passive buffs from the sprinklers applied to it. This way we can just guarantee it gets really big. So you're going to plant down 1 master, and then let me find them, 2 godly sprinklers. You're going to do an advanced sprinkler, a basic sprinklers, and then since we have these unlocked, you're going to do a honey and chocolate sprinkler. Now, if you're wanting to get these sprinklers, these are going to be in the summer harvest. I got this honey sprinkler after hitting prismatic rarity. So if it takes prismatic rarity, I have a full guide on the best way you can get to prismatic rarity easily. You can even solo this if you do it right. That video will probably be at the end of this one. But alongside that, we'll also have the chocolate sprinkler. So if you can get the chocolate sprinkler, it's not necessary, but recommended. You can craft with a cacao plant a chocolate sprayer, so you can just directly apply the chocolate mutation if you don't want to get the sprinkler. But once again, the chocolate sprinkler will apply to everything in range, so it's just like bonus value. But you can use that if you're targeting one plant. Secondly, the honey sprinkler is the only way you can get the honey glaze mutation unless you have the bear or the bee bear or whatever it's called. Unless you have that, you can't get the honey glaze mutation. So if you don't have the honey sprinkler, once again, this is only going to be obtainable from that. So like if I want to place this right here, right, all of these will get the honey glaze mutation. Let me make sure this big boy has gotten honey glazed. Sun-dried is not even range. That's awkward. Okay, I'm gonna use a trowel real fast to make sure it gets in range. Need to go around the other way. This plant's so big, it's literally like a hassle to move because of how big it is. So it has windstruck, shocked, sun-dried, frozen. It's hard to get mutations on it because it's so big. I need to put it like right there. Now it should be in range of the sprinkler, I would assume. Do I need to grab this, rotate it, put it like that? Nope, that didn't do it. What about putting it like, did the sprinkler already die off? Dang, that's awkward. Anyways, it'll buff. Let me see. Let me move it again. Back to the corner you go. Yeah, you do not want to be a neighboring plant. Anyways though, the next thing is with this, once you do this, I would recommend staying outside of the game for around 1 to 2 hours. It doesn't really, I don't think there's like a set time it's like to get the best value, but I would just recommend 1 to 2 hours because once again, this is like, I feel like the in general time before it's like, okay, you're going a bit overkill, you know? So go for about 1 to 2 hours and then you should be set. But then besides that, that's pretty much it. But the method, okay, also don't believe yet. The reason why I assume this one's so big is so what I did was I joined in the game, right? And right as I got the flashbang where it was like your garden grew while you were offline, I like re-left. This was because I was joining in Minecraft and leaving because I had all the sprinklers running. So I did that. So I would leave and then come back and do that over and over. And I did that like 4 times. And then the one time I actually let it load in, this thing got huge. Do note, everything else was also really big at the time. So this might actually be like the hidden method. And I feel like if you rinse and repeat this, you're down to get something that's really big. Anyways, that's all for the video. Yeah.